Welcome to Thursday. A lot going on in the world of politics since lawmakers have been back in session. The health care debate, of course, taking center stage. There's also this ACORN deal, the latest tape to surface here in San Diego. And to talk to us about those issues and more is local Congressman Brian Bilbray. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Are we talking to you live in Washington this morning?
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us. What do you make of this latest tape to come out of San Diego? The undercover tape of the ACORN workers it's just deplorable, really. We've got prostitution. We've got underage girls that someone's trying to get across the border. The more of these tapes that we're seeing, it's just outrageous.
Well, this organization grew up in the streets. This organization grew up, in New Orleans and South Chicago, and it has really sort of evolved and lost its way to where it's become a racketeering operation, basically. And it's under investigation for voter registration fraud in Nevada. There are states all over that have been looking at this. So I think this is a story that's been a long time coming, and finally now that the political situation is settled down, that we can look at it and say, look, you've got a racketeering operation under the guise of a public service agency.
The governor has come out asking Attorney General Jerry Brown to investigate this. How likely do you think charges will actually be filed against the people involved in these videos?
Well, I hope the process moves forward and that politics on either side doesn't get in the way. I think that we have seen that the legal process has finally moved forward in most states. Like I said, even in Las Vegas, they've said this organization went too far even for their standards. And I think you're going to see that Jerry Brown and the state has to look at this. You just can't continue to look the other way thinking, oh, these people may be politically influential, so we don't want to pick a fight with them. I think racketeering, child prostitution, and all this other stuff that's going on is really indications that have to be looked at. And this is an organization that just has been given a free rein for too long and actually been given government funds. And so I think you've seen a consensus. The Senate across the board, a truly bipartisan effort, really said, that's it. We've got to pull the plug. We can't allow this to continue, no matter what the political repercussions.
Let's talk about health care. And it was quite a sight yesterday. Senator Max Baucus, Senate Finance Chair, all alone, unveiling his health care plan, saying that he has the support, but it sure didn't look like that. And he sure doesn't have any Republican support.
Well, I think he was being attacked from both sides, and I got to give him credit for that. And in Washington, when both sides attack you, that's not a comfortable place to be, but it's a pretty honorable place. But I think that everyone is going to find out very quickly that, there's a lot of lack of trust of the American people of what we're doing in Washington so quickly, so fast. And we ought to start with the important part, how to control cost, how to pay for it. And when we talk about, well, don't worry, American people, we'll get two-thirds of this by limiting waste, fraud, and abuse. I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, or Independent. The first thing I heard from my constituents is, good, why don't you do that first and earn the right to be able to promise me some new deal before you start mandating that I, as an individual, have to start doing things. Why don't you guys, as Washington, finally do what you should have been doing a long time, and that's crack down on waste, fraud, and abuse, get tort reform in, reduce the cost of health care. And, oh, by the way, let's make sure we have a doctor and a nurse available in 10 years when we need them, because that's the next big crisis coming down the road. The
president today will be at the University of Maryland continuing to push health care. What are you up to today, Congressman?
Actually, we've got a section of legislations going over. We got the Joe Wilson issue settled yesterday. Mm-hmm. We were able to sort of move on from that and talk about some major issues. We are actually looking at bank reform and financial reform is coming down the pike, and in government oversight, we've been really looking at making sure that these contracts that we gave to the nonprofits in Afghanistan, something that no one's really been talking about. They've been talking about the profits in Iraq, but the nonprofit organizations really look like they've been ripping off the taxpayer, and there's really needs to be more accountability of where the money in Afghanistan to these so-called nonprofits that make billions of dollars. where those monies are going for, and that's a whole new item that government oversight we're getting into.
Congressman Brian Bilbray talking to us live from Washington this morning. Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule. We'll see you soon, I hope.
Well, hopefully this weekend. I look forward to trying to get out and get home for the weekend.
Well, good. It's going to be a hot one here in San Diego.
Well, great. And warn Dan, I'll chase him out of the water down to the waves.
You're going to have to fight him for the waves. All right, Congressman, thanks for your time. Talk to you.